And I don't want to be working in ballet or opera or, things where it's like, hey, keep this thing alive, even though no one cares about this anymore. All respect to the ballet and opera people out there. I just lost.
Security is extremely tight tonight. I just got to mention that, I'm told there's concerns about attacks from both the opera and ballet communities.
Remember that moment at the 2026 Oscars when Timothée Chalamet got called out on live TV? Yeah. What actually happened there? Was he embarrassed? Was it awkward? Or did he just play it off like nothing happened? So, the story starts with, of course, Timothée Chalamet.
That was one of the worst Oscars I've ever witnessed in my entire life. I didn't realize the Academy would stoop this low. They actually gave an award to a dude from a vampire movie, bro. I'm out here making actual good movies, and I get punished because I said ballet and opera are dog shit. You know what? I'm not taking that back. Literally, nobody cares about ballet and opera.
Now, at this point, Chalamet isn't just any actor. He's one of the biggest names in Hollywood. Critically acclaimed, massive fan base, always in the spotlight. And the Oscars? That's one of the biggest stages you can be on. But then, something unexpected happens. Enter Conan O'Brien. Now, Conan is hosting the 2026 Oscars, and if you know anything about him, you already know he's not holding back. He starts off his monologue like any host would, joking about Hollywood, celebrities, long speeches, the usual. Everything's going smooth. Then suddenly, he switches targets. And that target? Timothée Chalamet. Now, here's where things get interesting. See, leading up to the Oscars, Chalamet had been getting some backlash online. People were talking about comments he made about opera and ballet, basically suggesting that mainstream audiences don't really care about those art forms like that. Yeah, the arts community did not like that. So Conan sees that, and he goes, yeah, I'm using that. He starts joking about security threats at the Oscars, but not the kind you'd expect. Not paparazzi, not fans. No. He says the threats are coming from the opera and ballet community. And right there, people are already laughing. But then he hits the punchline. He basically says they're mad because Chalamet left out jazz.
They're just mad you left out jazz, Michael B. Jordan. I cannot get enough of this man.
Boom. The whole room reacts. Now, you gotta understand, this isn't just a random joke. This is one of those jokes where everybody in the room knows exactly what he's talking about. It's real, it's current, and it's happening on one of the biggest live broadcasts in the world. So, naturally, the cameras cut straight to Chalamet. And this is the moment. This is where everything could go left. Because think about it. When a celebrity gets called out like that, live in front of millions of people, it can get awkward real fast. You could see annoyance. You could see fake smiles. You could see someone just completely shut down. So what does Chalamet do? He smiles. Then he laughs. And not like a forced over-the-top laugh either. It's subtle, but it's enough. Enough to show that he's in on the joke. Now, sitting right next to him is Kylie Jenner, and you can see the whole vibe. He's not panicking. He's not looking around awkwardly. He's just taking it. And right there, that changes everything. Because let me put it to you like this. In moments like these, the reaction is sometimes more important than the joke itself. If he had looked annoyed, now that clip goes viral for the wrong reason. If he had rolled his eyes, now it's Timothée Chalamet can't take a joke. If he looked uncomfortable, now the narrative becomes awkward tension at the Oscars. But instead, he laughs. And just like that, what could have been a tense moment turns into one of the funniest highlights of the night. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Not everybody bought it. Some people online started saying, nah, that laugh looked a little tight. Others were like, he's just being polite. That wasn't real. And now you've got a whole debate going. Was he genuinely amused, or was he just playing the game because he's on live TV? And honestly, that's what made the moment even bigger. Because now it's not just a joke anymore. It's a conversation. And moments like these, they kind of act like a test of a celebrity's image, a test of how they handle pressure when the spotlight isn't exactly flattering. And for Chalamet, this was one of those tests. See, he's known for being polished, serious roles, carefully built image. But this moment, this was different. This was him being put on the spot and choosing not to fight it. He just went with it. And in doing that, he actually flipped the whole situation in his favor, because instead of focusing on the controversy, now they're talking about how well he handled the joke. That's the power of humor. It softens things. It shifts attention. It changes the narrative without you even having to say a word. And at the same time, you gotta give credit to Conan O'Brien too, because that joke, it walked a very fine line. It was sharp, it was risky, but it didn't go too far. It stayed funny without completely derailing the moment. And that's why it worked. By the end of the night, clips of that interaction were everywhere. Social media, YouTube, TikTok, people replaying it, analyzing it, turning it into memes. In a show full of scripted moments, that one felt real. And that's what made it stick. Because at the end of the day, it wasn't just about a joke. It was about timing, reaction, and how one small moment on a massive stage turned into something way bigger. A comedian told a joke, an actor got called out, and instead of pushing back, he laughed. And sometimes, that's all it takes.